Hi, I'm Brittney Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms, Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. We're here again. For anyone just listening, you're listening to Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. I'm your host, Brittney Ashley, and we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 in New Orleans. Get ready to escape the next hour as we break norms and build dreams with Ashlyn today. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
So excited to tell everyone about the product and your journey, but I'll just do a quick little bio. Ashlyn is a nutrition coach and founder of Smart Sip Cream & Co., born in Saskatchewan and now in Vancouver Island. She helps over 700 people reach their weight loss goals and lost 35 pounds herself. Noticing that 90% of people don't get enough fiber, Ashlyn created Smart Sip, a creamy, fiber-rich, calorie-friendly, no sugar, gluten-free powder creamer that lets you enjoy delicious drinks without the side effects. I'm so excited to learn more about the product. I know a little bit, but you can dig in more about that. But then maybe you can just tell everyone about who you are a bit more. I just did a quick bio. Because I always like you to tell it than me.
Yeah, no, of course. So yeah, I am originally from Saskatchewan, a tiny, tiny town. And I graduated with 5 other people because people are always like, I'm from a small town. I'm like, I am from a small town.
It is a small town.
And you know what? I just decided winters in Saskatchewan were just too cold for us. So my husband and I and our dogs moved out to Vancouver Island in 2020 during the pandemic, which was a whole story on its own. We sold our house, bought a house sight unseen out here.
Oh, wow.
Everybody is like, I can't believe that you, we saw it on possession day. They're like, I can't believe you did that. And it's like, yeah, sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. It was just a weird time in the world. So yeah, we were set to live out here. So we just kind of made it happen. And, you know, from there, my nutrition coaching business, I'd been doing it for quite a few years at that time. And I love helping people reach their goals. Amazing, fantastic. I get to, you know, share everything that I did on my own weight loss journey. But I was like, can I really do this when I'm 50 some years old, right? Is this going to be something I can do when I'm 60 years old? And honestly, when I looked deeper into myself, I was like, you know what? No, I don't think I can. And I need to come up with something that I can fill my passion with from there. So it was like, it took a couple years of a thought. I had come up with the idea. We used to take our winter road trips. We would drive down to Mexico or Arizona and spend a couple months there of the winter. And in the first year that we drove down there, I was like, you know what? I have this idea for this product and I really think it could be a thing. I was telling my husband. And fast forward another year, I'd sat on the idea again for, you know, another 12 months. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do when I get to Arizona this time? I'm going to make some appointments, try and find out where I can make this product idea that I have, because I truly believe that it is something that will be popular. So as soon as we got down to Arizona, I started reaching out to like food centers. I was like, I don't even know how to make this. Like, what do you do when you have an idea for a food product? And I wanted it to be shelf stable. I was like, I don't know how to make something like that. I need an expert to help me with this. So yeah, enlisted the help with a food center to come up with it. And, you know, kind of the rest brings us to today. I now have a food product that is on shelves and I do sell direct to my customers. But yeah, it was kind of that journey of seeing what people needed and essentially like what my clients were needing, whether they were on their weight loss journey or they just wanted to live a healthier life. And I saw a gap in the market for a fiber rich powdered cream, or something convenient that was going to help people get more fiber in their diet and help them with their digestion and blood sugar regulation, help them feel fuller longer. And yeah, that's kind of everything that was encompassed into creating Smart Sip.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing all that. I know my mom's like always listening. So Mom, go check it out. I actually have told her about your product, and she's just like, she has to always like see it for herself. But I know after the show, she's probably going to go look it up.
Totally. And you know what? I do like a ton of markets because, people, they want to know more about it. People are skeptical before trying it. I can't just be like, oh, it actually tastes delicious and creamy. They want to, so I'm like always sampling at markets and things like that. And yeah.
Love that. No, and then what was it? There's a whole bunch of stuff that just got recalled too. Protein powders. I was like, my brain. As everyone, if you're just re-listening, I've been out sick for some time. I'm second week back full into things, but I find my brain still foggy. So bear with me. Protein powder, a whole bunch of them just got recalled because of lead.
So I don't know if they were so much recalled so California has stricter regulations on lead found in food products. And what the study was saying that came out is that based on their higher levels, that they had found some protein powders had more lead in it. They were more vegan type protein powders, but as we know, vegan stuff comes from stuff that's grown in the ground. Stuff that's grown in the ground contains more lead due to the soil. So it's all about, safe consumption, and what we have set for rules and regulations in Canada. CFIA regulates all of that stuff, and there are broader terms, and it's personal preference. I'm not saying that it's safe or not safe or anything, but people have to do their own research on it and kind of understand the parameters of the studies that are out there, because yes, there was some different context in what was released in those. So they aren't recalled to the public because they are still within safe parameters. They might be taken off shelves in California, but they do have different rules and regulations. And again, they were more from vegan stuff because there is higher lead due to the soil in vegan type products. So that was what I took from the study anyways. And yeah, I mean, we could tell everybody, you got to do your own research and find what's the best fit for you.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it was actually my husband who was just like, you can't eat this anymore, and took it off.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, if you're not comfortable with it, don't do it. Right.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing. And I think we do get overwhelmed because there's so much noise out there now. And just to even start to research, you can go down kind of a spiral. Maybe you can share a little bit on your journey of, because it's all about fiber, like getting more fiber into your diet. Was that always your initial thought? Like, I know that this is kind of the gap. I really want to create a product that is the fiber filling for everybody.
Well, initially I was like, okay, I love a creamy coffee, and I like it wherever I am, whether we are, hiking, backpacking in the backwoods, or traveling, or wherever it is. I will not drink a black coffee, right? It's disgusting to me. And I'm sorry to all the black coffee drinkers who love it. It's just creamer's better. So I wanted to make a convenient product that was calorie friendly. So it had to have like decent macros in it, because one of the biggest things that I'm teaching nutrition clients is how to maximize food volume, right? You can eat one singular 1,000-calorie burger, or we can make a few swaps to make it more calorie friendly and then add in more foods, which is going to create more volume, keep you feeling fuller. So my whole thing is about creating things that are going to maximize people's calorie benefit, like I said, whether they're on their weight loss journey or not. So my first thing was I wanted it to be a coconut oil like powder in there, because I just found it like coconut oil milk isn't as creamy, and neither is like almond milk and things like that. And I was like, okay, I don't love that. I did try one once that was just a coconut oil in it. And I was like, okay, that's good. The fiber aspect came into play when we were like, I was very adamant on it being 25 calories per serving, because I don't want people blowing their calorie budget to have a delicious drink in the morning, afternoon. You guys can have 8 cups a day. I never judge, but so that was the main thing. And one of the things that we started playing with was adding chicory root fiber. And my clients know when I started talking about the product and saying that it had fiber in it, they were like, oh my gosh, there is no better product that you could have come up with something with fiber in it, because I could always teach people how to get enough protein in their diet. They always struggled with fiber. And I don't want to say that I harped at them, but it was, I'm always giving them ideas on things they could, be eating and adding. And the reality is it's just very hard for some people. So I was like, okay, what if we make this something that's easy, convenient? They can take it with them wherever. So that's kind of how the shift happened into a fiber product. So it was mainly, I wanted it to be coconut oil and powdered, and I wanted it to be 25 calories per tablespoon. And again, I was like, I don't know how to create that. So it was working back and forth with, I call her my recipe scientist. She's actually called a product development specialist. Okay. It's her actual title. Yeah. And so I give her the parameters that I want, and then we work together to try and figure out what that looks like. And that was kind of where the fiber aspect came in. But it was like, it's perfect for me, because I sit here and I talk about fiber all of the time. So to be able to give people this, a fresh take on fiber, not your Metamucil that you found in your mom's cupboard, something that actually tastes good, that's also functional, because people aren't drinking Metamucil because they're like, oh, I really want a glass of orange juice. That's not why they drink it, right? So to make it functional in that it actually is giving you a creamy coffee, and you're getting some fiber in it too.
I love that. How did you even find somebody to work with you to creating this product? Like, I've never thought about creating products. So this just interests me. It fascinates me.
Yeah. And I get this question a lot. It is hard, because it's like a lot of Googling. Because I was like, I don't know how to do this. And the thing, I had a couple friends who had created products. They were more in the snack food industry. And I remember, and it was quite a few years ago, they don't have their products on the shelves anymore. Snack foods is actually a really tough industry to crack, because there is so many out there, right? Like when you think snack foods, you're going up against like chips and, healthy versions of chips and, pretzels, and like literally everything that's out there. So it's a tough industry. And I remember them posting, and I remember them in the plant with their little hairnets on. And I was like, So I reached out to the one girl and I asked her, and I was like, hey, your pretzels, where did you have them made? And so she gave me the name of a place, which made me do some more research into what is a food center and where are these located. So I did find one at UBC. I found one at the University of Saskatchewan. And there have been more that pop up in other provinces as well. They aren't, in every province. So that's one thing. And then there's also the private route that you can go. They are just private companies that you can use. Either way, it costs you money. It costs you money to develop it and work with them. But yes, I didn't know anything about this. So I just talked to them, got some quotes from the university ones, because before I created SmartSip, I didn't even know about, the private companies that do it as well. And ended up going with the one at the University of Saskatchewan. It was just more cost effective. Like I said, I'm originally from Saskatchewan, and it's been really nice to work with them. And whenever people ask me, that's where I recommend them to go, and they will help you out.
Amazing. Do they give you, do you kind of lead into the science behind the food, and they support you on that, give you recommendations? How does that kind of flow a little bit?
They are a blank canvas. So you tell them essentially what you want in your product.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes from there. So they're not giving you recommendations on it. I had to use my knowledge as a nutrition coach to, decide on what was best. And I feel like it's got to be you got to jive kind of with your product specialist as well. Yes. Mine is a Red Seal Baker was initially part of her, and she's also a holistic nutritionist. So
Oh,
her and I align in the ways that we feel about food. I'm a very like moderation is key. No foods are off limits kind of a nutrition coach. So I'm not one that's going to sit there and, bash something. I truly believe in moderation in anything. So, so we just kind of aligned. So I guess I didn't need to ask anything because I already knew where I wanted to go with it.
Yeah.
And that just came from, being a nutrition coach.
Amazing. Well, I feel like I wouldn't even know where to start.
And also too, like, I feel like you have to have a passion for, like, I have a passion for food and for reading like nutrition labels. And if I'm traveling, I go to a grocery store. That's one of the things that I love to do. I love going and seeing what they have to offer that's different than what we have to offer. And I'm flipping over the packages. And I feel like if someone's like not into that, then they're probably like, it wouldn't be a path that you would probably follow. Or, maybe other people who I know in the industry now, they maybe had a recipe of something that, was a family recipe or something like that, that was so delicious that they wanted to, mass produce. And like, how do I go about creating that? So that's either a thing, but mine was definitely reliant on the fact that I was a nutrition coach for all of those years. And I truly just, I love finding macro-friendly foods that taste good for people. And I was always recommending it to my followers. So when people were like, okay, she has a product, she's never done me dirty before on any of her food recommendations. I feel like I can trust her on this. And I truly believe that's how I built that trust with my followers, because over the years, that's all I've been doing is sharing with them different stuff that I used to buy and find at the grocery stores, the supplement stores and things like that. And they were like, okay, I trust her. That tasted good. I tried it. So I do think it kind of comes from like where you're at with like the product that you're creating. And mine was from a functional standpoint and from the fact that I am obsessed with like reading labels and finding options, better for you options. And I look at things like if I see like an International Delight coffee creamer in one of my clients' food logs, I'm like, oof, like I don't want to judge because I'm an all-inclusive person, but I was like, maybe we can just find like a better option than that, right? So I'm not judging on seed oils or sugar or carbs or anything like that, but there might be something out there that's going to help maximize somebody's weight loss journey.
Yeah, I love that. Do you want to maybe I know you have a few different flavors, right?
I have 2 different flavors right now. I have a classic, which is kind of just like plain cream. And then I call it vanilla ice cream. It's just a vanilla creamer. I'm currently working on a 3rd flavor right now, which I literally just had to let everybody know it's going to be taking longer to come out with it than I thought. Because we spent 13 months creating the first 2 flavors. So I really thought that it was going to be so easy, right? We have a base now. We can just add in caramel flavoring. Turns out there's like a million different caramel flavorings.
Wow.
And it's just, you don't have what you think is going to be good. And we tried a couple and I was just like, it's not it. And it was like, it was heartbreaking to like release them. People were so excited about an upcoming like December launch of caramel. I was like, I'm sorry, it won't be until early 2026 because I don't want to launch something that's not as like people are obsessed with the other 2 flavors. And I don't want to release something that's not great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't as good as the other 2. And so we're back to the drawing board again, and it's just going to take a little bit longer. Plus, when you're working over the holidays, like everybody's closed down everywhere. So you can like everything takes longer, like essentially a month of holidays in there, with the people who I get my suppliers and the manufacturers and all of that stuff. So it unfortunately is at a bad time. And doing that is just going to take longer. So that'll be the next one. But I'm going to have probably 3 flavor launches in 2026. So that's going to be super exciting.
Are they kind of a secret?
No, I have talked about them on social media before. So caramel will be the first one because that was like the most requested. Cinnamon bun is going to be the second one. And then the 3rd one will be hazelnut. So all what
So
the people wanted. I always am polling my social media followers, asking them
good.
what they want to see. Like even
Yes.
today, I had on my stories, I didn't love the font in one part on the bags, and I had a different option that I work with a designer on the design of the bags, and she likes the old one and I liked the new one, and I was like, okay, we got to take it to the followers to see what they liked. And right there's the consumers. Why I can't make stuff that just I like. It has to be something that catches their eye. So yeah, I let them in on the process a lot. Put a lot of stuff on my stories for them to vote on. And like even the name of the caramel one, it's called Caramel Cloud. That was a suggestion from a follower. So I do take people's, suggestions into consideration for sure.
Amazing. Well, if anyone is listening to us, I put the IG here, but it's the Smart Sip. Oh, maybe I'll read it. It's moving too fast for me.
I'm the Smart Sip CEO.
I was like going to try to read it, and my brain's like, doesn't want to. But you also have a YouTube video too. So there we go. So anyone that's just looking for you. So it's all right here for everyone. And I'll put it in the comments for everyone as we're chatting more. No, those all sound like absolutely amazing. And it's nice to have variety too. So now you've got the base and now you're building from that. So I'm excited for those other few to like come in fruition for you and try them.
Yeah, totally. And I think a lot of people forget that. They're like, why don't you have more flavors? I'm like, well, it costs a lot of money.
Yes, which was going to be my next question about investing, like how you got investors, because I know that's the one thing I've found going into different like networking events or any speakers. A lot of the women entrepreneurs that go up into just shine light on their business is the notion of sometimes it's really hard for them to find investors or even get investors sometimes. So maybe you have some tips and tricks for anyone listening.
I don't, because I'm bootstrapping this business myself. So all of the money behind it has come from me. I do have a $25,000 line of credit as well as the $52,000 that we initially put into it. But yeah, so I do not have much but you know what? I do know somebody else who has a company, and literally they just posted on LinkedIn looking for investors.
I was just going to say, so anyone listening,
invest your money. But plus, like, I think like that's important for me for this first while. I want to bootstrap it as much as I can and, just sell creamer to produce more creamer. That's essentially what I'm doing with all of the money. Is all of the money just goes back into the business, which means, I don't make a lot of money right now. I do still have some nutrition clients on the side, but I do have a husband that supports me. So that is the only reason why I'm still in this game. But yes, I found that important. And, you and I had talked briefly that, I have plans to maybe do an audition for Dragon's Den in the spring, not so much for investment money, but more so for one, mentorship. Like I do truly believe that having some of those dragons on the panel with their connections and their mentorship to be telling you like next steps is huge. And I think that's kind of more important than even just the money aspect for it, because I believe you can get money from wherever. You can find investors if you're just asking around. So in that, I kind of want to go into the show being, it looks good to them when you don't have a ton of investors, when you have been bootstrapping it yourself, when you have been, you've taken the risk to go all in on a business. They love seeing that. And that's important for me. Also, I love the fact that I'm 100% female owned, Canadian, all of those things look good to them as well. So
100%. If anyone is listening who's from the States, it's Shark and equivalent to Shark Tank. If they don't know what Dragon's Den is.
Yes, it is Shark Tank. And then actually some of the dragons, because they have dual citizenship, were actually sharks on Shark Tank as well.
Yes, I actually saw, they just did a launch not too long ago, and there was, I guess, a US company coming into Dragon's Den, which was not usually. Yeah, because I saw it was on TikTok, and so I was just trying to like listen to more of.
So they won't be a US based business. They'll be a Canadian based, but if they're trying to get distribution in the US, they might be looking for funds to do that. Because yeah, one of the criteria is that you have to be Canadian owned to be on Dragon's Den.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting because everybody is like going crazy in the comments. And I'm like, there has to be more to this. I'm like, I'll research it later on another date.
Yeah. No, because I saw that clip as well, and they will be Canadian owned, but they want to get distribution going in the US.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. See, that's where this is why everyone, you need to research and dig deeper and ask more curious questions than just assuming what you see just on social media.
Yeah, that's very true. People can be crazy on there, and a lot of it's clickbait too, right? They want to keep people interested. They want to keep them watching longer. So people say things on there that might not be the full truth
100%.
Just to get people engaged.
Yeah. 100%. And like, I think because my background in training is marketing, communications, PR, and that piece. So like, I knew there was more to the story, but my brain's like, I don't have time right now to dig into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of people, when they first see it, I know, because you can tell from the comments, a lot of people were getting angry. And I was like, well, there has to be more to this, like either dual citizenship or something like that, you know?
Yeah. And people also get angry if you want to get your Canadian product into the States right now, because, and I mean, people aren't the ones putting the money into these businesses. They can sit there and be, as angry as they want, but at the end of the day, it's hard to be in someone else's shoes, and somebody's product what if they want to be a worldwide? And I know people are upset with the States right now, but until you are in the shoes of the person spending the money behind their company, it's really hard to judge them for that. So sometimes I see people in the comments being upset about that as well. And but honestly, it's a great time to be a Canadian food and beverage product, because people do want to support Canadian food and beverage. So it was just was one of my 2025 things that actually did align. I had some things that did not align. I've had some of the lowest lows in 2025, but that was one of those things that like came to fruition in there. So,
and that's entrepreneurship. Like we were just chatting before the show that I was super sick and all the things. And like, even when I look back for 2025, and I can't believe we're almost in November, like I'm kind of excited though for Christmas. Sorry, anyone who's not. Because for me, I feel like that finally gives me the opportunity of a break. That's why I feel like I'm super excited for it, because I know the kids are off. That's when I finally give myself that, okay, you have these times off, and I don't feel so guilty that I'm not working 24/7 as hard as I should be. That's where my note was coming from the I'm excited for Christmas, but we as entrepreneurs, like we have ebbs and flows on the daily, on the monthly, and it's a lot.
For sure. And I mean, when you sell things like physical things, it's like Boxing Week is another one of your busiest times of the year. So when you're like, I'm excited about Christmas or a break, I'm like,
You're like, don't bring that up, Brittney.
Like Q4 is the busiest time of year for people who do have product-based businesses, because it's holiday season, your Black Friday, your Boxing Day. It's the time where it's the make of your business, because nobody's buying your products in come January. And I know it's a little bit different because I sell creamer and people are using creamer all the time, but you definitely notice people tighten up the purse strings in January, and basically due to an overspend on, from the holidays. So they're like, ooh, I can't have this creamer right now because, things are a little tight from over the holidays. So, when you're someone like myself who doesn't make a ton of money, and like, yes, I sell a lot of product, but like I mentioned, all of the money goes back into the business. Is like, if I don't have that for my next production runs to order my next ingredients, right? For me to order ingredients for my next production run, it's $40,000. And so if I'm not maximizing Q4 sales, I don't have that money to, put back into that, or I have to take out another loan or something like that. So all of that plays a role in it. So yeah, Q4 for me is definitely this is like the clutch season.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to stress you out.
No, I try not to stress. I try not to stress out about things that are out of my control, right? I can always do my best, but as I've learned in this life that there are so many things that are out of your control that I just kind of got to roll with it.
Mm-hmm. And if we put too much pressure on ourselves, you can burn you out. I know for me, like just struggling 2 young kids, I do put a lot of pressure on myself. And so it's taken me a lot to be like, when I was super sick, it's taken me a lot to even just like take that step back and be like, your body is telling you to like focus on you right now. Everybody else is healthy. We just went down the crazy path. Everyone's finally healthy, but you. So you need to focus on you.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I've probably had the worst month of my entire life this past month.
No.
Our dog died unexpectedly in the middle of the night. And then the next day, my mom phoned to say that my dad was going into the hospital on palliative care and he passed away 2 weeks later. So,
I'm so sorry.
yeah. And I mean, like, those are the types of things that you deal with as a business owner. Things don't stop and you just have to roll with what you're given with. So, but people are amazing in my customers that they, don't expect too much, but it's also my job running a business to get people their orders on time. And just because something horrible happened, I can't just be like, well, I don't feel like sending this out to you today because I just am not in the mood. It's still my job. And as a one-person business, it's like, yeah, your dog can die one day and your dad can die 2 weeks later. And that just happens. And it's incredibly sad. But at the end of the day, I still have to run this business. And, I had to pitch I was nominated for Product of the Year. My dad passed away on a Saturday, and 4 days later, I had to go and pitch my product to BC Food and Beverage. I was one of the nominees for the Product of the Year award. So, I was there at the office, and it's like, they were like, we can put your nomination for next year's awards. And I was like, you know what, this was something my dad was like proud of me for doing. So I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm too sad to do this. I'm going to show up and, do my best for it. And, he knew that I was coming to do this. Like, he knew that this was something I had to come and do that week. So I just felt it would be a disservice to him to be like, well, no, I'm not in the mood to do this. It's like, sometimes you just have to do things that you don't really want to. And that comes with life in general, right? I can be like, oh, I'm too tired or too sad to eat well or move my body and things like that. And it's like, is that going to do me any good in the long run? Other people are like, well, maybe you're putting too much pressure on yourself. And it's like, this is just how I like deal with my stuff, and everybody deals with it differently. So it's not saying that everybody has to pull up their big girl pants and forget that they're sad and do stuff. That doesn't work for everybody. But for me, like, this is a way that I heal and that I deal with things. So when, it was like, I could not do this, or I could do something that was still going to make him proud. So, it was also like part of the reason why I ended up, like, why I created the product. And, my dad was a farmer from Saskatchewan. I wanted to help people get more fiber in their diets. So yeah, he had terminal colon cancer for 8 years and fought that battle courageously that entire time. And that made me proud. And it was something that I talked to a lot about with people, when just on my social media with my nutrition clients, things like that. I never want to see anybody go through that. It's a horrible journey to have to deal with, and it's all consuming. So yeah, like everything. He was also an entrepreneur, so I'm very much like him. And people are like, farmers, entrepreneurs. It's like, well, he wasn't just a farmer, he had other businesses too, but being a farmer is an entrepreneur. They're still running their own business. And, we had cattle and things like that, and devastating things happened to him throughout the years too, but he still showed up for him and his business and still had to get things done. And I, took after that, and just doing stuff to try and make him proud as well. So yeah, everybody deals with everything differently. And this is just the best way that I know how to deal with it.
100%. And I know that's kind of, you and I relate a little bit on that, is my stepdad passed away right before when I fully decided to launch. And that's kind of like the pushing point too for me, was that life is too short. And I know I still carried on and pushed forward through the chaos. It's how we show up too, especially when you're so passionate about something too. Like, I know you're so passionate about this product. I can see my mom see listening.
Fiber is a saver. Terry knows. She knows.
And then, oh, see, I told you she's listening.
I love that. We love farmers.
She's gonna go to your website. I already know she's probably gonna block my
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, Terry, we do love farmers, and
yes.
you know, it was just one of those things in life, and that's why I say it's unpredictable. You will never. There's never a day that you can go by and guarantee anything. And honestly, I only have this one life to live, so why not spend it doing the things that I enjoy and make me happy? And those are the things. I'm not a person who would just, go lay in bed for days on end. And that's fine if other people are. I'm just saying it's just not what I would do. And I'm not that I always feel like I have to explain things to my followers, just being like, why I am working and things. And other people are like, I was the same way. I went back to work because I couldn't sit at home just thinking about it, being sad all the time. And that's okay if you're that person, but you also can't judge somebody else who is like, okay, it makes me feel better to do the things that I'm doing. I'm not a person who would come on to social media and cry and show my feelings online. My friends even know, like, I'm not going to even go to their house and that's just not the person that I am. And it's not wrong. It's just each of us are different. So yeah. And everyone's like, you don't need to justify anything. It's like, yeah, but unfortunately when you have, 250,000 social media followers, you sometimes have to explain these things, or else, you do get some judgment from it.
You do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I just did this presentation. So I have something in my eye where I keep on trying to get something in my eye and it won't come out. It's probably one of the dog hair or cat hairs floating around here. That's what I was just going to mention too, that you have a lot of following, and I know you have a lot of followers that give input on your how your product and the graphic design pieces, and you're showing up every single day. And there's unfortunately some people that they compare, and I think sometimes in society it's just sometimes it's like a natural thing. And so one of my presentations on the weekend was saying, try not to compare, because you don't know somebody's chapter. You might be in chapter 20 and you might be in chapter 3. So you don't know what's really happening behind the scenes. And so we need to start challenging the mindset and the narratives of what we kind of run through in our brain a little bit, because so social media is wild. It's like the Wild West.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
But I love how you do show up and just talk about that too a little bit, because it shows the different sides too. And it also, I think, shows that we are all human, because I think we forget that we are all human on social media a little bit.
Yeah, people definitely get a sense of entitlement when they're on there. It's like, well, if you're sharing this online, then I get to say whatever I want on it. And first of all, COVID made things so much worse when it came to keyboard warriors. These people would never say these things in real life to people's faces, but they feel safe and comfort behind the screen of their computer, knowing that they can say absolutely unhinged things and not really care about the repercussions of it. And unfortunately, that was something that I just kind of had to get used to. Nobody should have to get used to it, just, people saying rude things. But if you're videos that get millions of views don't get millions of views for being people pleasing. And that's the unfortunate reality of it. And everybody has a different opinion. So you're not going to please everybody anyways. So learning that and knowing that, these people's rude comments are more about them than they are about you is the biggest thing. And yeah, it's like, if people when people are out there sharing their true, authentic lives,
Mhm.
that's where they find their community. So you'll get some haters, but you're going to build this community of, so many more people who align with your values. And
Yes.
the only way to reach those people, unfortunately, is by having those other people. And they'll hate everything about you, right? They'll hate your eyebrows. They'll hate the way you speak, the way you move your mouth. Trust me, I have heard it all. And
Mhm.
it's like, I know, like, I've always known I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But when you are in a more public light, then that's where you get to hear every single thing that everyone
Mhm.
hates about you. And at the end of the day, you just have to kind of laugh it off, because these people, who are they? Who are they really? And they're not somebody that I would ever take advice from anyways. So
Yes.
that's
And
where it is.
and some, like, I know for me, like, I'm a work in project because I am such a people pleaser. I am such like a perfectionist. I'm such like, on my talk was about imposter syndrome. And so I am like, I have imposter syndrome so much because a lot of it can be also like, it could be linked to childhood trauma pieces. It can also be linked to neurodiversity, like a combo effect, high level. And I just know that a lot of things for me like gets triggered. So when someone's like, "Oh, I don't like Brittney because X, Y, and Z," and I was like, I've learned over the last 7 years of doing this business is like, and I'm still learning by any means, is listen and just kind of like, okay, interesting, and then keep going. And then like the whole let them theory, let them do whatever they need to do and say about you and just keep moving on, because at the end of the day, it's all about you and how you move forward.
Yeah, you're never going to change their opinion anyways. So you can either, one, use it for social media engagement, and it'll continue to push out your content to the right people,
Mhm.
or you can delete the comments. And I feel like my social media is like my living room. Okay, like, I'm inviting you into my home right now, but if you came into my home and you were like, your eyebrows are ugly, I'd be like, you can leave now. And that's kind of how I deal with it. It's like, I've let you into a public viewing of my living room, but I still have control over who I let into my house. And
Yes.
I mean, you can't follow the rules, you're going to be asked to leave. And people don't love that. They feel like I said, that entitlement that you put this online, so it is, I can say whatever I want on it. And that's not how it works.
Mhm.
And people love to make fun of content creators as they sit there and are watching and addicted to the people that they're addicted to. It's like, it's
It's
all content, whether you like it or not. So
well,
yeah.
it's kind of like I'm not a Swiftie by any means, but I do love her music, Taylor Swift, if anyone doesn't know what
Yep.
Swiftie means. But like, just like her new music that just rolled out, like, I love all her music. Like, I'll just listen, like, I love all her music, whatever she does. And just the amount of haters, I'm like, wow, like, y'all are just like, just appreciate the music. Either you like it or you don't like it. Just let it be. If it really bugs you that much, don't listen to it. But it's just bananas how the world is also fascinated, like, with celebrities and or all these things, and they just hyper focus. And it's like, well, why don't you just focus on your life and who you want to be and how you want to show up?
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And I almost like, the the day that I take the time to stop and
Mhm.
comment, even if I'm like, oh, whatever this person is spreading is total misinformation, and I know the exact fact that they're, spreading fake news about, I
Yes.
will never stop and comment. Just like, I created a food and beverage product. Everybody's
Mhm.
taste buds are different, right? I know it's not going to be for everybody, because there's literally not a product out on this earth that every
Mhm.
single person likes. So that is okay. But when people are like, want to say rude things or whatever, I'm like, nah, you don't get to here. You don't get to be like that.
Mhm.
And when it used to be my nutrition coaching business, maybe I would, like, you know, prod them along, I guess, a little bit, just so my content got pushed out more. But
Yeah.
here I'm like, no, you don't get to be like that. So yeah, I just stopped, started deleting people's comments. And if they come back again, they get blocked, because nobody needs that negativity in their life.
No.
And it's not, you're spreading misinformation, and I don't have time for things like that.
I love that. I watched somebody on TikTok, and she has like this same like energy. She's like, I can't remember her name. I actually really adore her. And a lot of people just like attack her. She's like, just FYI, I blocked X, Y, and Z. If you're doing this, I'm just like, I love your list. So love it.
Yeah. And
we don't need that.
People don't need that. And you're not changing the creator's mind about anything. Like, if you're that person who leaves snide comments, I'm sorry, you have not changed one single person's mind. You've not changed one person who buys their product or service or whatever. You've not changed the creator's opinion. So just like, leave it be. Let people do their own research and leave it be.
Yeah, 100%. We're going to be close to time here. I told you it was going to go by really fast.
Yes.
Is there anything you can, any tips for any women entrepreneurs that are thinking about starting a product-based business? I know you've mentioned a few things here, but anything that really stood out for you that can really help someone move the needle?
Honestly, if you're not watching Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, you need to start. You need to go back and watch as many episodes as possible. You need to know numbers, product pricing. You need to do all of the research on that before you're launching your product. And so many people are like, oh, I have this great product. They launch it, and then their margins are too small. Like, what people don't realize is, to be able to be listed in a grocery store or a large chain, it's, one, you're selling them a discounted product. Two, they're usually listing fees. So it costs you money. You're essentially renting space on the shelf of that store. Three, you have a percentage that goes to a distributor. Oh my goodness. Maybe you've got a broker that's taking care of all your So it's like, if you don't have big enough margins, you're making $0. You might even be losing money at that point. So costing is huge in this. And I learned all of my information beforehand from watching every single episode of Dragon's Den that I could go back and watch, and not just on food-based, but on all product-based businesses, and just to see where do I need to be to make this viable even. So you can have as much passion, and everybody's on a different journey. If it like fills your cup to sell it at the farmer's market every weekend, do it, fill your boots. But if you're someone who's like, no, I'd like to sell it in a grocery store and retail or something someday, it's like, those are all the things that you need to take into consideration if that is a goal of yours.
Amazing. Well, thank you for that. I think that was very valuable, especially for pricing too. Like, even for even business services, like for myself, I actually had this conversation over the weekend that for women entrepreneurs, we struggle with pricing and really hard to like nail those down. So even just having a notion where to start is amazing. So
and like keeping in mind that, I've had three ingredient price increases since I launched. I'm only been in business 6 months. So if you don't have it priced well enough, you don't have enough cushion to eat that cost. And there's nothing worse than underpricing yourself and having to go back and lower your prices. That's going to hurt your business more than anything. You need to be priced right initially, than having to try and raise prices afterwards.
Yes, 100%. Makes sense. Here is your website that's going through, but maybe you can just highlight, since we're on the prices topic, how much it is to purchase the product and where to find it here in Canada. Can they find it in the States? Can they order online?
Not yet. I would hate to see somebody order it and then they get dinged with a bunch of tariffs and duties and whatnot. Because you'd be like, I ordered a $28 bag of creamer and then got charged $70 in fees. Like, right? Because I don't have any control over any of that stuff. So unfortunately, until things because I do have other like nutrition clients and whatnot that are from the US, and they're like, we want to order so bad. I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. you got to come to Canada and then
Yeah.
just drive it back across the border. And then, so yes, that is unfortunately not in the US yet, but someday it will be for sure. And so I do sell, I'm in 12 different, more like boutique type shops. I've been following in Saskatchewan. So I have 10 of the stores are located in Saskatchewan. 2 of them are located on Vancouver Island. So those are my main ones now. I don't have any in Alberta. And right now I'm not approaching stores. I'm just waiting for them to approach me because I am starting to run low on stock and I need another production run here very quickly. So I just, once I have more stock, I can then start approaching some other stores to see if they want to carry it. And most of my sales are done directly to my customers right from my website at smartsipcreamco.com. And I do free shipping if you order 3 bags. So yeah.
Amazing. I'm just going to put this here. So anyone there, it's right there. For anyone watching us.
Amazing.
And I'll put it in the chat too. I'll do that now while we're just about to end here. That's amazing. I'm so excited to have met you and watch your journey because I know you're going to be so successful. I know Dragon's Den is going to be amazing for you. You're going to get in. I know it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's all about, it's got to be a story because it's still TV after all. And you have to be engaging. If you're boring, nobody wants anybody that's boring. So I got to turn it up a notch.
Yes, I do think you have a good story, a great product, and everything in alignment to what they are looking for. So I can't wait to watch when you're on there. I was just going to ask you one more thing before we jump off, because you mentioned here on Vancouver Island, where can they, do you mind just being let us know where exactly?
Yeah, so the market on Millstream in Langford carries it, as well as it's called Urban Oasis, and it is on West Saanich Road. And people are like, I don't know Urban Oasis. And if I say it's beside Mosey's Coffee Shop, people are like, I know Mosey's Coffee Shop. So on West Saanich Road, yes, it's this cute little boutique type store. It carries all different Vancouver Island products and just the cutest things in there too. Market on Millstream, really great for supporting Canadian businesses too. So, and it's a full-blown grocery store as well. So 2 locations there. And then I'm always popping up doing markets, probably 2 or 3 markets every month where people can come and taste it. And for that, they either just have to be, checking my website for the dates or following me on Instagram. I'm always updating where I'm going to be at next. The next one I'm actually going to be is in Vancouver at the National Women's Show, November 8th and 9th. And then all the Christmas markets after that. So I have a ton that I'm going to be posting about on Instagram.
Amazing. So everyone listening and or viewing right now, make sure you go follow Ashlyn on Instagram. It sounds like you're very active compared to me. I'm active. I just feel like when I can post something, then I will. It's more.
It's about, and I've been less active lately because it's not really that is one of the things that I haven't really felt like doing lately is filming content. So, I have found that a little bit harder, but been really great to, take a step back from that and just get a whole bunch of work done that had been kind of sitting in my inbox for a while. So maybe this week is the week that I get back to it.
And it's okay to have a break if you're feeling like anyone's listening out there and they're like,
totally. Yeah. And you know what I did? I reached out to an ads manager and she's just did some post boosting for me and it takes the pressure off a little bit. So I did that instead.
I love that.
Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. And for all the listeners, please tune in next week to Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. A big thank you to United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network. And we will all see you next week. And with that, I hope everyone remembers that your journey is unique and your worth is unquestionable. Thank you, everyone.